Just a reminder, if you're interested in doing more of these meditations, please drop me a line, and you can email me at mbfyoga108@gmail.com. And you can send me questions, you can tell me you want more of these, you can say, please stop. So whatever you're feeling, I welcome feedback. Good morning. If you're just joining us, we are just waiting about 2 more minutes for everybody to gather. These videos are going up on the website, and you can find them in the same place you found the access to this. Down at the bottom of the page are the edited, archived versions of the 8 sessions, and the section where you access this, the unedited version, goes there. So you'll see me fixing my retainer and all that stuff before we get started. Compelling. You can hear the dogs that are sequestered in the garage scratching at the door. About 1 more minute. I went out walking yesterday morning, and it looked really cold. So I had a parka on, I had a vest on underneath that, I had a long sleeve shirt on, and I just kind of peeled off as I kept walking. But it was gorgeous. Sat outside for a while talking with some friends, socially distanced, and it was lovely. I hope I can get out and walk again today, but I have to do my chores first. It's my day off. When I was a kid, my dad had a bowl, and he would put a slip of paper in for each chore that had to be done on Saturday morning, and we would have to pick until all the slips of paper were gone, and then we had to do our chores before we could go out and play. And then one Saturday he tricked us, and he loaded us all up with chores, and somebody picked clean the garage, and he said, come on out, I want to show you what needs to be cleaned. And we went out in the garage. The car was in the driveway, so it wasn't in the garage, and there were 2 Stingray bicycles there, a bright orange one for my brother and a turquoise one for me. It's always been my favorite color. And that was like the best Saturday ever, because he didn't make us go back in and do chores. We got to play with the bikes, and I remember falling a lot, learning how to ride, and getting right back up on it. But man, that was the best day. Good morning, and welcome to the 8th session of this series of 8 free 20-minute meditations. Over the course of the past 8 days, I've been trying to share a little bit about shamatha meditation, which is a simple practice of sitting and being with whatever is there. It's the gym of meditation where you sit and you develop your ability to sit with whatever is there. You sit with a sense of discomfort. And the discomfort comes from a sense of suffering that we've created for ourselves. And we get attached to things, we are averted by things, and these things come up when we're sitting. But if we can learn to sit with whatever is here, include it in the experience as we sit, befriend it, become familiar with it, then the suffering dissipates. It doesn't remove things that are going on. It doesn't remove the sources of grief or anxiety, but it helps us sit with it. And so we can cope. We can make better decisions when we have the ability, the strength to sit with what we're experiencing. So today we're sitting, and I want to give you one more technique that will help you create the causes and conditions for you to be able to sit in stillness, focusing on the breath and returning to the breath when you find that you've been caught up in those aversions or those attachments, the things you like and the things you don't like. So I find counting the breath is a good way to get me out of here and into here and here, into the body. And my Ashtanga teacher, David, teaches the perfect 10, where you count 10 breaths and you try to be totally focused on the feeling of the breath for 10 breaths. Now, in theory, that sounds very simple, but in practice, it can be difficult because the brain is wired to secrete thought, and we get caught up in these thoughts. We're human beings. But the point is, you practice returning to the counting, just like you would return to the breath when you catch yourself caught up in thoughts and stories and fantasies. So today we're going to put the practice in place with the structure that I've been teaching of finding your seat, finding your breath, and replacing your breath. But when I ring the bowl, after we find our posture, I want you to start by just being consciously aware of your 10 breaths as you start, and count them, breathing in and breathing out. So in 1, out 1, in 2, out 2, and just count the natural breath. That's all you have to do. And then once you get to 10, just release yourself from the counting. Allow yourself to be present right here. And allow whatever unfolds during the time that we're sitting to unfold. Invite it in. Welcome it. Befriend it and become familiar with it. And when you get caught up in the stories about what's unfolding, return to your breath. If you get caught up again, and you will, we all do, you keep returning to the breath, returning to the breath. Now, if you find that you're in a higher state of anxiety today, maybe go back to the counting. Give yourself something more concrete than the breath. The counting will help you. So let's find our seat. And remember, we start with the roots of the seat with the legs and then the pelvis. So make sure that the pelvis is neutral, the legs are grounded, and if you're sitting cross-legged like I am, that you feel supported. Your hips a little higher than your knees. If you're sitting in a chair, feet are flat on the floor, and you feel grounded in the soles of your feet and your sit bones. Shoulders back and down, and dropping your arms like plumb lines, palms down in the mudra of calm abiding. Lifting your sternum just slightly, feel that lift, generating a lift through the top of your head, the roof of your mouth, all the way up. Remember, we're not going for something tight and rigid, and we're not going for something loose and goosey. We're going for something not too tight, not too loose. And one thing that helps me is the instruction of strong back and soft front. Take your gaze forward and down. And as you find your breath, I'll ring the bowl and you can start your counting. deepen your breath. Move your body just a little bit. Flutter your eyes if they feel tired. And maybe take a twist, just gently looking to the right. And gently going to the left. So sometimes the universe sends very specific distractions, and it's testing our ability to stay in our practice. And it's kind of ironic that this dog situation is happening on our last day. It's really testing our muscles that we've been developing over the last 8 days. If we try to remove distractions, if we get up from our seat, if we bag our meditation practice with every sound that comes along, we'll never develop these muscles. So we have to learn to sit through the good and through the uncomfortable, and develop your seat as a place of sanctuary where you see all facets of your being. That was particularly hard for me because I wanted nothing more than to walk over to that door and give them the mom stink eye. But I couldn't do that. And I had to sit with my desire to go and do something about that. And I had to soften and make it part of my experience. But I'll tell you, it did distract me from my thoughts. It brought me back into this moment. So I was here. So I hope that over the past 8 days, you've been able to exercise your meditation muscles, and that you are looking for some more consistency in your own meditation practice. You can use these videos. They're on my website. They're on my YouTube channel. And I would encourage you to make a place where you feel comfortable. My place for meditation drifts around my house, but I've learned that I can find a comfortable place in maybe 5 or 6 different places in my house. So I know that if there's something blocking me from a part of my house, I can go somewhere else and do that. And slowly and surely we find that we can do meditation anywhere. We can do it in the car, when we're sitting and waiting somewhere. We can do it standing in line at the grocery store. We can find ourselves wherever we need to. And the more time we spend with ourselves, the more we see the goodness within. And I think we all need to see that. If we can see it in us, then we can see it in others, and the world will be a better place. I want to thank you all for joining me over the past 8 days. And again, if you would like to ask questions or give me your opinion on whether or not we extend and do more of these, please write to me at mbfyoga108@gmail.com. Let's bring our palms together and dedicate the merits of today's practice and this whole series to those beings in the world, all beings in the world, including ourselves. May all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be parted from freedom's true joy. And may all beings dwell in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. And dogs banging on the garage door, thanks for being here. Bow together. Have a wonderful Friday. Peace to y'all. Thank you.